working? Is it working? Oh, that's what I want. Oh, it was working. Horizontal. Why is it saying that it's not? Oh, I see why. All right. Is it working? I think it's working now. It's a little delayed. Do I have any sound? It's weird. It shows 3 people. Let's see here. Hello, can you hear me? Is this working? Please let me know in the comments down below. Oh. Not sure if the video is working or not. Hi, it's working. Hello. Okay, so I'm just going to be working on putting labels on all of these towels was my plan. And then if you guys have any questions you want to ask me, I'm happy to answer them. That was kind of what I was thinking. I was thinking if I was actually sewing something that it'd be too loud and that I wouldn't be able to keep an eye on the screen. Need to cut these out. I'm just cutting out the label sheets right now. These are for the towels. I've got 2 bins sitting next to me. The other one's on the floor here. So I just need to cut up these labels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll do 3, 2. Hopefully I don't mess up cutting these. All right, let's see here. 1/2 inch. Then another 1/2 inch. And I just made these labels in Avery. An Avery label maker. I don't know if you guys got a chance to watch the video I posted today, but my sewing machine was not working for like over a week. So I had to take it in to get serviced, so I will not have my sewing machine for 2 to 3 weeks. So I am just using this backup machine. I just got this like little machine here that I've been using. And of course it's right in the middle of when I'm trying to work on the jar opener challenge. So I'm trying to make 600 jar openers in February. So far it's not going great because I've been so delayed with my machine not working, and then this new machine, because it doesn't have as many features, it's a lot slower for me to be working on stuff. So I'm trying my best to get it done, but I don't know if I will be able to accomplish the goal or not. So those of you watching it right now, where are you located at? I'm in Pennsylvania, like I guess central Pennsylvania is the right thing to say. Why, hello, Julia Hagee. Thank you for joining us. That's my mom. All right. What's this, 4.5? I'm just trying to get these all to be the same size. I'm just cutting up the labels for towels, and then I'm going to put the labels onto the towels. Let's see here. Next month, I want to do a video that's like a mock-up craft show type deal. So I'm going to like set up my tables. I don't know if I'm going to put tablecloths down or not, but I'm going to put all of the jar openers and all of the towels out, and I can show you like all the patterns I have. That way, if you want to order them off my website, you can, and you'll see exactly which patterns I have available. And by then I'll be done with the 600 jar opener. And so that's how many? I'm trying to find the number here. 28 and 34, so 32, so 54. I have 54 more patterns next month for the jar openers. So that will be cool. I'm excited to try that out. I'm not sure what to really do in the live, so just learning as I go. Hopefully I don't mess up as I'm trying to talk and cut. I should have cut these ahead of time. I'm pretty good at multitasking, but I'm not good at talking and cutting. Almost there. One more sheet, or one more set of sheets. So do you guys have any sewing questions or anything related to any videos that I recently posted? Anything I can share information on? Do you have a set schedule for your work? I do not have a set schedule for my work week as far as like sewing. It's usually just like whatever it is that I'm working on. Like the jar openers, for example, I don't normally make them much throughout the year. I'll maybe make one or two here, like one or two batches here or there. Last year I did the 600 jar openers at the beginning of the year, and those sustained me for the year. So that's why I'm doing that again this year, so that like I'm putting in a ton of work, like 4 hours a day into the jar openers for February, so that way I have a lot for the year. So it's usually just like whatever it is that I'm working on, and I post on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So generally I try to like batch my videos. Like on Saturday, I'll batch a couple videos if I can, so that way I have it ready to go, or at least I'll batch ideas. Like I might film like 5 or 6 intros, and like I have like a whole table over here of work in progress. I have like 20, 30, 40, I don't know, a ton of work in progress. So I'll just try and like batch a bunch of things, and having like stuff in bins, stuff in containers, stuff like cut and ready to go, that helps me work on something, so that, you know, when I'm on my lunch break, because I work from home, so like when I'm on my lunch break or when I get off work, you know, can I spend an hour working on this or a half an hour on this? I have something ready to go. So I don't have like a set schedule, but I try to see like what is it that I need to do, and I try to just prep it so that when I do have free time, I can work on that thing. I'm not sure if that makes sense or not, but that's kind of how I do it. Oh wow, hi from Australia. Yeah, you know, like I did a whole video on, sorry, the question is, that's what or the statement is, that's what I struggle with, making videos and ideas for posts. Usually it's just like whatever it is that I'm working on, or is there a holiday going on, or did I get a special fabric? But a lot of times it's just like what is going on in my life. Like, do I want a new dining set? Do I have a show coming up? Like, usually it's just like whatever it is that I have going on. And if I don't batch the videos, there are times when like I'm thinking about it throughout my whole workday. Like, what could I make a video on? What could I make a video on? And then I don't even film it until after I get off work, and then I have to edit and post. So there are definitely days when I do not have an idea, and it takes me a long time to come up with an idea, or I'll just watch YouTube videos until I get inspiration or an idea. So I do that sometimes. And I just try to hold myself accountable and try to make sure that I post every Tuesday and Thursday. I think that I have not missed a Tuesday or Thursday in like 2 years. I did miss one this year, but I don't really count that because I had the video ready, but it was just taking forever to go through the checks. Because the way that it works is that you upload the video. For those of you that don't upload videos, you upload the video and it checks it for copyrights, and then it checks it again. Like, it has to go through 2 sets of checks, and if it's a longer video, it takes a long time to go through the checks. And so I think I started uploading it at like 9 or 10 o'clock, and it was not ready to go even when I woke up the next day. So that's the only time that like I've missed, I think it was a Thursday post, but like I had it ready to go. It was YouTube's fault that it didn't post. So yeah, I feel you there. Tracy, did you happen to see the video that I did of like putting together my ideas for the year? I'm not sure if she saw that video or not, but the reason I bring it up is, so I wrote down, so I post twice a week, right? Tuesday and Thursday. So then I wrote down all of the days for the year, like the day of the month that I would need to post, or not the day of the month, the amount of videos. Like some months was 8 days. My words. Some months was 8 days, some months was 9 days, and stuff like that. And so then I just came up with 8 ideas for March, 9 ideas for April. So like that was just my idea for that, was to put how many videos I need for the month and come up with that amount of ideas, because then like I've not used that every single time, but when I do need like inspiration or I do need a video, then I can go back to that list. So depending on how often you post, I would make a list of like that you need that many ideas. You don't need to fill in every box, but like if you get some ideas out there, then when you are struggling with an idea, you can just go to your list that you've already made for yourself. So that's what I would suggest. Oh yeah, I see that you did watch it. Awesome. Let's see here. Hello from Virginia. Let's see here. Love the videos. Oh yeah, you like the getting ready for a market? What is it that you like about the getting ready for a market videos? Like what can I show you more that you like? Do you like seeing me creating the product? Like do you want to just watch me make stuff? Like I've thought about doing videos where I don't talk and I just record myself making something for like a half an hour. Or do you want to know what it is that I'm doing? Like do you like it when I show like, oh, I have this for this reason, I packed this for this reason? Like what is it that you like about the getting ready for a market video? Wow, 1,200 ornaments. That's a lot. But it is good to know if you need that amount in starting in September, if you can start prepping it now so that you're not stressed later. Like that's why I'm stressing myself out in February about the jar openers, is so that if I'm stressing myself out about it now, then I don't have to worry about it later. And I don't need more quantity, but I need more variety. So at this point, I have enough jar openers to sustain me for like a year or two if I didn't make any more. However, I don't have enough patterns. I need to keep adding patterns so that I can try and please the most amount of people. And even with that, like I said, I'm adding 54 more patterns this month. Even with that, I don't have enough to make everyone happy. I will still go to a show and someone will be like, oh, do you have any purple flamingos? No, sorry, I don't have that. So it's really hard. Like I'm sure you struggle with it with the ornaments too, that someone will be like, oh, do you have it in this color or that color? You cannot have every single thing that someone wants. And I do not do custom orders personally, unless it's for a close family member or friend, because it's just not worth it in my opinion. It's in like there are some good customers when it comes to custom orders, but I would say more times than not, if you do a custom order, you're trying to live up to this expectation that this person has that you may or may not meet, and then you may go like buy this extra supplies and go do these extra things that weren't already in your system. And from what I've experienced, most of the time the custom work is not worth all the extra stuff you go through to try and make it. That's at least what I found. I don't know what you found with the custom work. Don't have my hole puncher. Do I have a little one? Oh, I think I have a little one in here. Oh my goodness. Okay, I don't even have the hole puncher to be able to hole punch these, so those will have to wait. But I do have these other ones right here that I can work on. Let's see. Exactly, I want to have a steady flow. Yeah, I would say like one of the biggest mistakes that I've reoccurringly made, especially when I first started, is when you get into the fall, it's just like show after show after show. And the most important thing when you're doing a bunch of shows is to sleep. You need to sleep, because if you go to a show exhausted, you're not going to look good, right? Because you're tired and you're like maybe lethargic if you didn't eat something, but you need to eat and sleep so that when you go to the shows, you can talk about your products and be excited and be energetic. Because if you stayed up all night making more ornaments and you're all like, ugh, all day at the show, people aren't going to want to buy stuff from you. Like, I would say that's one of like the biggest mistakes that I see people make is when they're in their craft booth, like either they have RBF, right, where they're like, and don't get me wrong, I have RBF, but like I just try to make sure I'm smiling the whole time, like playing on their phone, RBF, eating, like all sorts of things to not be looking at the customer. Now, the flip side of that, when customers do come by, I personally am not a salesperson. I'm not going to sit there and sell you something that you don't need. If you ask me questions, I am more than happy to answer your questions about my product. But I put so much time, effort, and energy into my product and setting up that I don't have time and I don't have the energy to sit there and sell you something that you don't want. I do love it when there's like 5 or 6 people and you're saying your speech about your item and they all hear it, because then maybe one person will buy something. So I think that's helpful. But where I was going with this is that like when people come by, I try to interact with each person, but I don't push it. Like when someone goes by, I like, hi, how are you? Good morning, you know, like, and let them take it from there. If they keep speaking to me, then I'll keep speaking to them. If they just like nod or they like, hi, let it be. Let them touch. Let them look around. You can say that like, oh, you're welcome to touch. You're welcome to smell. You're welcome to whatever your thing is, right? Like, is it jewelry? Oh, you're welcome to shine it in the light. Whatever the word is to entice someone. Like, sometimes I'll make a joke like, oh, isn't it great that we're not shopping online, that like we're in person? But I usually try and like just get the vibe off of the customer to like see what it is that they want. But yeah, so where we started with this is that if you don't make your products ahead of time or make enough ahead of time, and each day after the show you're staying up all night making more stuff, you're going to be exhausted and then you're not going to put your best foot forward at the show. So definitely try and make as much as you can now. Love it when you make it. Love to see new items, scrunchies, hair bows, pocket tissues, small bags. So now what I'm doing here is I am just taking the little piece of paper here that I've got. It says reusable towel, set of 8, pre-washed, no additional shrinking or bleeding, self-sticking, apply pressure while rolling, store in a basket, drawer, or on a roll. They're more absorbent with every wash, made with 100% cotton flannel. I've got my logo and I've got 4 QRs. The first is for Etsy, the second is for Instagram, the third is for YouTube, and the last takes you to a specific YouTube video that talks about the reusable towels. And I specifically do not have my pricing on here because a lot of the times people are buying these as gifts and it's kind of tacky to have a price on it if they're giving it as a gift. So I don't do that. And that way, whether they're giving it as a gift or if they're keeping it for themselves, if they've forgotten what we've talked about or they don't know how to explain the product to the other person, they can scan this QR so that the other person can watch the video and learn about the product. What I found interesting is like when I've looked up the stats on this video, it does not have very many views. And I've had this on my label for, I don't know, 2 years at this point. I would think that it would have way more views because like it's a video that like I'm literally pushing with every single sale of a towel, but it doesn't have that many views. So I don't know, maybe I need to redo it or like explain the product better or something and then put a new QR on here. I'm not sure, but people verbally tell me, oh, that's a great idea. I'll let them know, you know, to scan the video, or, oh, I'll watch the video later. But the video doesn't, I've sold way, way more towels than the views on the video. So I'm not sure what that's about. This is my most popular pattern. It is the gray cats. A lot of people will buy it as a gift. I guess because it's like neutral and a lot of people like cats. my last few markets, I found that if I make a lot of different items to 19 to 20 each, I found most people found something to buy. I would agree with that. Like, so when I first started, I had like, I don't know, like 40, 50 different items. And people didn't like it because I only had like 5 maybe of each item. And there wasn't enough variety, right? And people were like, oh, you look like a gift shop. Like, what even are you? What do you have? So I found that people want more variety than, what am I trying to say? They want more of each thing than more different options. I'm not sure if that's making sense. So like the towels and the jar openers are my 2 most popular thing. I have hundreds of them at each show. I probably have thousands of jar openers, but I have a ton of different patterns of the same item because the person is looking for something on the item. They are not necessarily looking for that item. I'm not sure if that made sense or not. My little brother said, love you, baby sister Wesley. But he's my baby brother. I still need to figure out my, what I've heard it referred to as like your white whale. Like you need a big dollar value product, at least 1 or 2 to take to each show. And like, you're probably going to take it to 10 or 12 shows before you even sell it, right? But the point is that if that one person bought it, that would make your whole booth. I've talked about making the rag quilt. I've not made any quilt ever. Quilts don't interest me. But the rag quilt, the reason why I have a slight interest in it is that I was hoping to be able to use my cotton flannel scraps. And it's not a quilt in the manner of that you're sitting there piecing a bunch of little pieces. I don't have the patience for that. I can't sit there and piece a bunch of pieces. Like, I love using all my scraps, don't get me wrong, but intentionally cutting a big piece of fabric into a bunch of little pieces and then sewing it back together does not make any sense to me. I can't get on board. I don't understand. But the rag quilt is like made up of just squares. So that is something that I've wanted to put together. I have not done it. I bought all this flannel to make towels and to have enough to make the blankets, and I still have not done it. So I need to work on that. I'm not sure what else I can make that I can charge $100, $200 for a singular item. I mean, even with the blanket, it wouldn't be, for the amount of time and effort and size, I still don't even think I'd make a profit on that item. But it's not about that item, it's about a whole. So at one of the bigger shows I did, I was talking to this one lady, and she said, like, because I was like, oh, what's your goal for today? And she said like X amount of dollars. And I was like, oh, are you trying to sell like this many of this many of that? And she's like, it doesn't matter. It's just the number at the end of the day. It doesn't matter how much profit I make on each item, because of the fact that like you're putting so much time and effort and labor into stuff. It's just really hard to price things where you'll make a profit on every single item. So you're more just trying to get an overall profit. So if the show is $100 to be a vendor, if you sell that $100 blanket, everything else is profit, right? Because you've just made the show back, as far as the show is what I'm trying to say. But I don't know what else I could make that would be within my theme that I could charge enough money for. So I would love some ideas. I don't know what else to do besides a blanket, and I don't even know if people would be interested in it. I think it would also be good like physically in the space because it would be large, like physically large, so it would take up like a wall, like I could hang it. So I think that's cool. I hope you continue your show prep videos. I always remember something from them. So, the show prep videos. So I just want to make sure that I'm understanding properly. So is it making of the items, or is it talking about the why of the items, or the why of the prep, or the this is why I packed my car this way? Like, I would love to keep making them. I just want to make sure that I am making the things that you guys are interested in, because at the end of the day, you guys are the ones that watch my videos and make it all worth it. You would love a blanket? Is that what you're saying? I think she's saying she'd love a blanket. So we need to make a video, and I need to just make a blanket and see how it turns out. And it sounds like my mom wants the test trial. She always gets the test trials, and I'm like, here, you can have these. They're all messed up. And she's like, what? There's nothing wrong with them. I was like, no, there's this wrong, there's this wrong, there's this wrong, there's this wrong. She's like, no, they're perfect. I'm like, no, they're not. They've got so many things wrong with them. I'm not sure how long we've been on here. I can't see it. It's too tiny on the phone. Does it show me over here? Yeah, I don't know. So what kinds of things can I share with you right now? What have you liked watching? What have you not liked watching? Did you guys watch the ASMR video? Oh my god, that video was so frustrating to me. I had such a vision and it did not work how I wanted it at all. And I was like, it's such a simple idea. And I had it in my mind for weeks. And then it finally snowed and I was like, okay, boom, I can finally make my video. I want to like set up my sewing machine and like have a snowy background, and the only goal is to fill up this bobbin case. That's it. Not a complicated idea. But when I tried to execute, the lighting was awful. The angle of trying to wind the bobbin was so annoying because of the way I had to like put myself around the sewing machine and trying to not get in the video. It was so frustrating. Like trying to not make any noise. Like I'm trying to like not drink anything, trying to not swallow, trying to not breathe too loud, and it did not work how I wanted it to. So I would like to try again, but I don't even know if that video was of interest at all. Oh, how to keep the items when they're not in the market. That is a good idea. So I have my items in bins, all sorts of different bins. I love containers and bins, and yes. So I have a bunch of bins from, I think they're from Costco. They're in most of my market videos. They're smaller bins. I can't reach it right now because it's in the closet, but I just have them stacked up in the closet, and I have the stuff inside of them, right? And like the tables and the what's it called? The wagon, the large displays. Those were all still in my car from last month. Like I said, I work from home, so it's usually just me or me and my boyfriend in the car, so they're in the trunk. It's not really taking up space that I'm trying to use, and I don't want to carry it all the way from the car all the way upstairs into my craft room, and I don't really have anywhere to put it. I don't want it in the garage, and I don't want it in the basement. I am terrified of spiders, and I don't like dirt and dirtiness, so I cannot put things in the garage or the basement. It just, I don't want to do that. And if I do that, then I need assistance to get the item when I need to go use it again. So they're sitting in my car. The inventory though is in my closet over here. Probably once we get to summertime and the fall and I'm doing a lot more shows, I'm just gonna leave it in my car. I know that's not an option for everyone, like especially if you have to use your car for other stuff. I think it's really cool. Some people have like trailers, like just a little 8 foot or 10 foot trailer, and they'll leave everything in it. They'll leave their tables in it. If their inventory, granted, it depends, right? Like if you're a candle maker, you can't leave your inventory in the trailer. But if you have, I don't know, like the fabric, it's not a big deal. If it's in like a plastic container, it's not just exposed, you could just leave it in the trailer. Granted, it also depends on if you had one and if you have the capabilities to pull that with your car. But yeah, you can keep things in the garage, in the basement, in a closet, maybe your bed. If your bed, you could get a bed frame that is taller. That way you can store bins underneath it. There are bed frames on Amazon. It's like $100 and they're awesome. I have 2 of them in my house, and you can store like 8 bins underneath it, like regular size bins. So I don't know why you would have more inventory than 8 full bins, but you could just store it underneath the bed. I would say the biggest thing like with storing it is how often are you doing shows and how difficult is it to get from the place to your vehicle. Like I said, if I had more shows, I would have to carry all this stuff from upstairs all the way to downstairs each time. So I don't want to do that every single time. But right now, it's a while between my next show. So that's why I brought it back upstairs and just shoved it in the closet. No, I totally got what you're saying, Tracy. I don't have a number. I more do the numbers when I'm making things. So not this year, but last year I calculated the year before. So 2023, I calculated how much I sold in 2022 in each show and as a total, and that let me know how much I needed to make. So you can use previous shows as a guide. So if, for example, you sold 20 towels and in a day of a show, if you have a 3-day show, that means you need 60 towels. So I would just look at your numbers from previous years, figure out what your average is per day, then calculate how many days you have of shows in the current year or how many you'd like to have, and then that's how you'd know that you have enough stuff. I mean, it's not an exact science because you can't sell it if you don't have it. So what if you took 40 but you only had 20 last year and you sold all 40? That'd be a great problem to have. So I would just calculate how many you've sold previously and then just make that amount or more for however much time you need to make sure you have enough of. So, L Faber, I saw all your comments today, but I was working, so I didn't get a chance to reply. My sewing machine. So it is at the shop right now. I'm waiting to hear back. They're supposed to call me with an estimate. I don't know if they tried calling me today. I don't know about you guys, but there was the outage today. So I'm not sure if my phone was working right or not. I only talked to other iPhone people and I was on Wi-Fi, so I'm not sure if my phone was working properly. But I'm waiting to hear back. They're supposed to call me, but the estimate was 2 to 3 weeks. So I'm not gonna get it back for a while. But I'm waiting to hear back. They think, when I explain the problem, they think that there's either thread caught inside, which would be wonderful. That'd be a great problem because then that means all I have to pay for is the cleaning. which is a little annoying because if you watched the video, which I know you did, I did take it apart the best I could and tried to clean it. But it could also be the sensor could be messed up, and if that's the case, then I don't know if they have the sensor, if they'd have to order it, then I have to pay for that part. So I don't know what's wrong with it. I took it in to get fixed. It's at a authorized brother fixer place, repair place, so I just have to wait to hear back what they said. I know I mean, I think the foot could be impacting it, but I don't think it's the foot, because after I filmed the video and then I went to go use the regular foot on it, it was still giving me the error. And then when I switched it back to the walking foot, it was giving me the error, but the walking foot was giving me the error more. So the walking foot was adding to the problem, but I don't think the walking foot was the problem, because I've also used both that foot and the walking foot on the new machine that I bought, which I've used a lot now, because I don't have my other one. And it's worked fine. So I definitely think it's the machine. I do not think it's the foot. Oh wow, 100 pocket tissues. That's a lot. That's awesome. That's a lot of them. But 100 between now and September, right? That's what, 6 months. So you could do like 20 a month or less. I definitely think it's good to work on the stuff now so that you don't overwhelm yourself closer to. My one of my work in progresses is that I want to make a bunch of pocket tissues. I think I bought 175. I bought a lot off of Amazon. I can't remember the amount, but the leftover fabric from the jar openers, where I bought 20 inches, 20 inches, 20 inches, I plan to use for the towels for the tissues. So we will see how that goes. I think I have more fabric than I have tissues, which I don't really care. I am fine making way more pouches than I have tissues for, because I can always order more tissues. Or like a space saving thing, what I'm thinking is once I've made them and I take them to a show, I can have 60 or so, however many, out on the table with the tissue pouches inside of them, and then have another little basket of like, here's additional pouches if you want a different one, and then you could just switch it. So because the fabric of the tissue pouch is way smaller than the tissues, so I don't know, that's just my thoughts. But I'm all about like assembly line and just like trying to make as many of one thing at a time, which is good and bad. Like I definitely overwhelm myself. Like the jar openers, I've been working in sets of 180, which is a lot. It takes a long time to sit there and turn them right side out and to trim them. But I don't know, I can't just make one of something. It's a problem. I can't just make one of something. I have to make 10 or 20, or what's the most efficient use of this fabric, what's the most efficient use of this fabric, like what's the most I can get out of this. I have to be efficient with everything in every aspect, so it's good and bad. I'm assuming the hammer time was about the sewing machine. Yes, I was about to throw that thing out the window. I was so mad. And I tried so hard to fix it. I spent hours like trying to fix it, trying to like figure it out, read the owner's manual, read things online, watch videos. Like I tried the best I could to fix it myself. Granted, it still worked. I could still use it, but like every 6 to 12 inches, that error would pop up, and then I'd have to hit OK, wait, and then I could start sewing again. And it was taking forever, and it was driving me nuts. Like, because I'm not sitting here and sewing one little jar opener. I'm sitting here and sewing for 2, 3, 4 hours at a time. So I don't have time to sit here and like every 10 seconds be paused. It was driving me nuts. And like this new machine, I'm glad that I have it. I'm glad that I have a new working machine, but like, oh my God, my machine is so nice and I cannot wait to have it back. Like just every little feature, like this one, um, so like the automatic threading, the thread cutting, the, I feel like the, something about, I don't even know how to explain it. When I'm going to make my turns, and this is frequent with a jar opener, right? Because the jar openers, I'm turning every 6 inches, turning. It is not, when I'm sewing, it's not stopping with the needle down. So like I have to stop before and then crank and then turn and then go and then stop and then crank and then turn. Like I don't know, it's so hard to do like one stitch. Like my machine, granted I've used it almost every day for 4 years, so I'm very in tune with like how to do one stitch, and I could do one stitch very easily. This machine, I cannot figure out how to do the one stitch or one back stitch because it's like the toggle down button. Because my machine, if you click the back stitch button, it does a singular back stitch without me doing anything. Like I'm not even pressing the presser foot. I just click the back stitch and that's a singular back stitch. So like I'm very particular and I want things to look perfect. And so the fact that it's off by one stitch, it's driving me nuts. And so I'm trying, again, I'm much slower now because I'm having to like get to the edge. Like I can go stop, hand crank, and then move, and then go. And it's just, I don't know what it is or what I'm doing wrong that it's not stopping down, but it needs to stop down. It like, because I keep messing up that my brain is so used to it automatically stopping down that I'm lifting up the presser foot to turn and the needle is up. And so then it's like, I don't know if that makes sense. Oh my goodness. Yeah, sewing while sweating does not sound fun. Oh my God, look at this thing. This is ridiculous. So I'm like midway through. This looks like a mess. The thread is like, I don't know what is going on here, if they like ran out and this is like putting two, what's it called? Where they like combine two different threads. Oh, look at this. It's just coming off. Is it gonna come off? What the heck? What is happening here? I don't understand. It's like all chunky right there. It's weird. I did not see what you purchased. I just purchased the, I feel like I could like manhandle this. Like, look, this is like one hand. It's just the $80 machine at Walmart. It's not great, but it gets the job done. I needed a brother machine so that I could use my walking foot because each brand has a branded walking foot. And like I have a different sewing machine, but it's a Bernina, I believe, and I don't have a walking foot for that. And so I was scared to order a walking foot and then it not be the right one. Whereas this one, I knew that my brother walking foot would work on it. And it was an immediate solution. Like I texted my boyfriend and I'm like, I need you to stop at Walmart on your way home. And I did a pickup order and he picked it up and brought it home the same day. So it was more about just like getting it in that moment so that when I, like the video I posted today, I recorded on, oh my gosh, I messed this one up. I put the thing on the front and I meant to put it on the back. The video I posted today, I recorded on Saturday. So, I took my machine in on Monday. But I needed the physical reassurance that I had a backup physically in my possession before I took my sewing machine apart in case I broke it. I didn't break it, but I didn't fix it. So 7, a.m. here in Perth. Is Perth, are you the one that said you're in Australia? What is Perth? Yes, Australia. 7 a.m. on Friday. It is 5:50 p.m. on Thursday here. So it's nighttime. So I got off work and got ready for this video. Hello from Butler, PA. Where is Butler in reference to Scranton? Yes, I think splice thread. I think that's what this is. I think the first thread ended here and they added the next one on. I think that's what happened here. I'm not sure if I should use this part. I'm gonna cut this off and just stick it in my bag. Trust me, nothing gets wasted with me. That will get used when I'm at a show and oh crap, I need some thread. Boom, I have some thread. 750 here, or sorry, got it. Talk about not reading something right. 4:50 here in Jackson, Mississippi. I'm assuming that's 4:50 p.m. Well, let's see here. These are kind of messed up. I'll use them anyway. It's not a big deal. Okay, where's the other ones? I'm trying to keep all the like patterns together. So I'm happy to stay on and chat as long as you guys are interested in chatting. What else could I talk to you about? What else are you interested in? What do you have questions about? Just north of Pittsburgh. Okay, so Pittsburgh is not near me. Pittsburgh is like 3 hours away, I think. Pennsylvania is humongous. I will be on Instagram and something will be like, this fun thing in Pennsylvania, and I don't know where these places are, and I'll type it in and it's like 4 hours away. It's not near me at all. I'm kind of in between Philly and Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh is 3 hours and then Philadelphia is 2 hours. So I'm kind of in the middle there. I'm about an hour south of Scranton. I've not been there yet. I am excited to go. I think we're gonna go, we're still in February, right? So April, I think we're gonna go to Scranton. If you've not seen The Office, that's where The Office is, I don't know the right word, I guess, based. They didn't film there, but that's where the show is meant to be from. They're in, the idea is that they're in Scranton, PA. And from what I've seen online, the like welcome to Scranton sign that John Krasinski, he's the one that filmed the intro on his phone, and that's why it's kind of like a crappy video. He filmed it on his phone and like gave it to the producers or whatever. The sign that was outside of the town, too many people were like stopping and taking pictures with it, that I don't know if they removed the sign or if there's a duplicate sign, but there's supposedly a welcome to Scranton sign inside of the mall. So I want to go and like go to the mall and see what like office stuff that they have there. I think that would be really cool. A fun afternoon. So what are your thoughts on our first live here? I didn't really have like a solid plan. I wanted to make sure I was doing something like quiet and that I could stop and like pay attention to what you guys are saying. If you weren't here at the beginning, I said that I didn't want to do active sewing while I was recording because I feel like it's too loud, and I also feel like it's something I need to focus on, so I wouldn't be able to like read the comments and stuff. The next time I do a live next month, my plan is to set up a bunch of my tables. I don't know if I'll put down the tablecloth or not, but my plan is to put down the tables and show off all of the towel and jar opener patterns that I have as kind of like a open house type deal. And like if you want to order any of them, then I'll have the link to my Etsy, because I really struggle with keeping the patterns up to date on my Etsy, and I feel like it'll be a good way to show all the patterns that I have available live in that moment, right? And then I can ship them out, because I don't do well on Etsy. I don't know, those of you who are fellow crafters, Etsy, I do terrible on Etsy. But the reason I keep it is because it's just me. So I can't do everything. I don't have time or the thought process to deal with putting together a website, keeping up with a website. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with the Square Reader and all of that. Etsy is integrated with the Square Reader. They have all the front facing. I just upload the listing. Granted, they take a cut, but you know, you're gonna pay if you have your own what's the word, point of sale. If you have your own website, you're gonna pay for that too, and then you have to bring in all your people yourself. So to me, it's worth it to not deal with the headache. Also, when I do taxes, I literally just print off the form off of Etsy, print off the form off of Square. It's so easy, and then I just type it into TurboTax. So I don't have the brain power to deal with my own website. That's why I still do Etsy, but my sales are terrible on Etsy, like organic sales. So thank you, ladies. I was very nervous about today because, you know, when I'm recording, sometimes I'll do it in one take, and I don't like write myself a script. Most of the time I'm just like saying stuff. But like obviously I can't edit this because this is live. So I was really nervous about today, but if you watched my like goal video for the year, one of the goals is to do 2 live videos, so can check one of those off. I ripped the band-aid off, I did it, so I'm proud of myself for just doing it, but I was very nervous. So thank you all for joining me. I really appreciate it. Nice to see you. So I've signed up for the Amazon affiliate thing before, and then I didn't like post any videos with links or anything. Like I didn't use it in time, so I don't know if I still even have it. So I don't really know. I've not done much with it. I've signed up before and then I didn't execute on it. Granted, you have the people all over Instagram and stuff, right? Like, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I made $200 on this item. Did you? Did you really? I don't know. I don't know if that stuff is true or not. Granted, if you're already gonna film yourself talking about 5 Amazon products, it'd be better if you're an Amazon affiliate, and then you can have those links there. And it doesn't cost the consumer anything, right? Like if I go to your video and you have Amazon affiliate links, it doesn't cost me anything additional, right? I'm just clicking on your link and then I buy something. Something interesting is that if I click on your affiliate link and I go buy something, sorry, if I don't buy the thing that you recommended, but I go to my cart and I just buy something, you still get part of that money. Like the affiliate like stays in your account for like a couple minutes or something, that they still get some of the sales and they can see what you bought too. So I definitely think it's worth doing. I have not properly executed to do it, so I don't have like any numbers for you. I don't know how well it works, but it's free to do. It's not hard to do. I would definitely recommend just signing up and doing a video and seeing how it goes, because the only thing you've wasted is your time, right? So yeah, it's worth a shot. I only watch YouTube. Is this in reference to the affiliate links? Or are we just talking about social media in general? I personally don't do Facebook either. Like, I don't like scroll Facebook or anything. The way that I have my business account set up is that my Facebook and my Instagram are linked together. So when I post something on Instagram, so for example, when I scheduled this live yesterday, I did the scheduling of it for today, yesterday. I shared it to my Instagram story in Instagram, and then when I did that, it said share to Facebook, and it just shared to Facebook. I've not opened the Facebook app in months. I don't like Facebook. I don't use Facebook. However, my Facebook page for So Sustainable looks up to date, or it should look up to date, because they're just associated. So to me, with the business and the social media, I just have to make it as easy as possible so that I'll do it. And I've talked about this in a video before, like, I don't use fancy filming equipment or editing or anything like that. If I make something too complicated, I'm not going to do it. Because I want things too perfect and too correct that if I don't just do it, I will never do it. So, like, for example, filming my videos, I film them with like the selfie mode so that I can see myself, so I can see if everything's okay. Like, this is crooked and it's driving me nuts, and I don't know why it's crooked. I think maybe one of the legs on my tripod isn't straight. But I've tried to just not watch that it's crooked. But I can see myself, and I can see that I'm in the angle. I can see, or in the angle, in the frame. I can see that you can see what I'm doing. Same thing when I record my videos. I do it with the selfie mode. It would be better if I did it. It would be a better quality if I filmed it with the other camera, like facing the other way. However, then I can't see myself. So I save myself editing time because I fix myself in the moment. I'm watching myself. Granted, when I first started, I had people tell me, look at the camera. So I've not done it well in this live, but when I'm filming, I try to look at the camera hole and not at my face, but I can peripheral see my face and see the background and see if my project is in the shot. So that's kind of how I do that. And then I'll film it all on my phone, and then I edit and I post on my phone. I do it all on my phone. So I don't do so when you watch a YouTube video, you know how sometimes it has like they're called info tags or something? They're like the gray things that pop up, like someone's talking about, oh, I made this jar opener video, and it says jar openers, and you click it and it takes you to the other video. I don't have any of those on my videos in the past like 2 years, because I post everything on my phone, and the phone does not have when you're posting onto YouTube, the options that you have when you're posting, there's way more options when you're on the computer or the desktop versus when you're on the phone. So I don't have that option on the phone, so I don't do it. Granted, I'm sure I'd probably get more retention if I did it. However, then I wouldn't do it. If I have to go take the video from my phone onto my computer, onto the upload, I'm never going to do it. I'm never going to post. So long story short, that's what I'm getting at with the social media. If you don't like this social media, you don't like that social media, find a way to make it easier. Find a way that you can do it all at one time. There's also like paid subscriptions and apps and stuff. I can't think of any of the names of them off the top of my head, but where you can log in to your Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or it's not Twitter, it's X. You can log into all these things and you can schedule your posts, and it posts it all at one time. So if you're trying to increase your social media without increasing your efforts, I would recommend doing that. But with any outsourcing, you're going to have to pay for it. Same thing like I was talking about with Etsy. I don't have the brain span. I don't have the capacity to deal with a website and all that crap. So I pay Etsy, so I don't have to deal with that. I don't mind posting myself on social media. Granted, I don't do it enough on the other platforms, but I take care of it myself, so I don't pay for a scheduling thing. So just figure out what is the most important to you, how's the best use of your time, and then How often do you think you need to post? Are you going to do a story every single day? Are you going to do a reel or a short form video every day? I don't do TikTok. I don't personally do TikTok. I don't businessly do TikTok. I personally don't like TikTok. So that's something that has a huge following. If you do TikTok, you could just film yourself, some behind the scenes stuff, and post it, and maybe you'll get a lot more following. I don't know. The social media thing's hard because for some people, increased social media, they do get an increase in sales. Some people have a ton of social media and they have no sales. So just because you have a lot or a little social media doesn't mean you're doing well or poor. I'm not sure if that makes sense. I prefer watching unedited videos. I like that, the unedited videos. I try to do some one take videos. I think I've maybe done a handful here and there. I could definitely do some more of those, like, I would call it a one take, but like what you're saying, like unedited. I've also started filming more in that way. Like I used to film where I would record my intro and then stop it and then record the next segment. And what I've started doing is I'll just hit record and then I'll say my intro and then like let's get into it, like let's do it, and then I'll just keep going. And so when I'm editing, I just splice it and separate it between my little picture, which I just made the little picture in Canva, and then the rest of the clip. Yeah, so I film it all in one video and then I'll just edit it and splice it, and then the I don't know the words, the title or whatever, the thing that says like Samantha Tansley videos Tuesdays and Thursdays, so sustainable, gift shop, those things, I just made them in Canva and I just have them saved on my phone as like a favorite picture so I can find it real fast, and I just put it as a minute and a half, and then, or not a minute and a half, 1.5 seconds, and then I just save that, and then the thumbnail that I've taken, I'll just take a picture with whatever the item is, and then I have I think it's called photo room, and I'll take it off the background, and then I'll go into Canva and I just go from my last one and I hit make a copy. I delete the picture from the last one and I move the text over. So if you look at my YouTube, like the list of videos, you'll see that the picture goes because each time I'll move the photo left, I'll move the photo right, so that each time it's like flip-flopping, and all the colors are all the same. The pink and the green are like from my original. So when I first started in 2019, I started as Tansley Paper Co. I was making handmade greeting cards is where I started. And then come COVID is when I started sewing. Like I learned to sew. I had sewn a little bit when I was younger, but not really. And then like I taught myself how to sew off of YouTube and like making masks. I made thousands of masks. I made enough masks to pay for my sewing machine. And so I had the sewing stuff and the paper, the cards, and so I had like all sorts of different stuff, and that's why people were like, oh, what are you, a gift shop? Like I used to get insulted at every show that I would go to, whether it be customers or other vendors. People were not kind to me, and they were constantly telling me that like my name made no sense, and like, oh, do you have sewing stuff or paper stuff? And it was just so frustrating. And my favorite number is 2, so like today is 2 years since I launched So Sustainable. And so November of 2021, I was at a show and I got the Instagram handle of So Sustainable 2022. And I launched February 22nd, 2020, or 2022. 2/22/22 is when I launched, because that's like, I was looking forward to that day for so long because I love that day, all 2s. Where was I going with this? Oh, because the sewing was so much more profitable, and like I needed a name that was more concise of what I was doing. So the paper items. Like, I enjoy making them. I enjoy making cards. However, it takes a lot more brain power to make 100 cards than it does to make 100 jar openers. The jar openers, I can just make a bunch of different kinds because I just change the fabric, but it doesn't change the process of how I'm making them. And it's a lot faster and a lot more profitable because I can make a lot more items and sell them at a higher cost. Someone's only going to pay so much money for a paper item. So the cards were not worth it. People say they want handmade cards. They don't buy them. They don't want them. Maybe they want them as a gift, but they don't want to buy them. So I changed my name so people would stop insulting me about the name. And then I just had sewing items. But even then, when I started Sew Sustainable, I was still having like a bunch of different products. Since then, like the last show I went to, I only brought 4 items, 4 different products. But I brought like, I think the smallest thing I had like 20. I had like 20 sets of coasters, 20, no, way more than that, of the soap towel pouches, maybe like 60 or 100. I have 100 of each thing so that each item is much more prominent on the table versus having 2 of each item. So I don't know where I was going with this, but that's the what am I trying to say? That was like the evolution, I guess is what I was trying to say. So yeah, today is 2 years since Sew Sustainable. Paper crafts and sewing embroidery. People could be so cruel. I agree. Thank you. Yeah, I love embroidery. I think it is so cool. And it's so much more durable. Like, I've made a bunch of HTV stuff because I also have Cricuts. I don't really use them that often. But I do, like, when I'll make a gift or something, I like to make personalized gifts. So I'll use it a lot for that. But like having something embroidered, like the shirt embroidered versus having HTV, it lasts so much longer. It looks so much nicer. It's so much crisper for such a longer period of time. Even when I'm like visiting somewhere and I want to buy, like, you're in Hawaii and you're gonna get a Hawaii shirt, I'm not gonna buy something that's screen printed or HTV because it's just gonna get all cracked and it's not gonna last. If you get something that's embroidered, it's gonna last a lot longer. And most of the time when you're like, especially buying stuff like that, like a gift shop type thing, it's like the same price. So why wouldn't you buy the item that's gonna last longer? I don't know. That's just my thought. 10 to 20 of each item is good. I would definitely say more, but granted, I don't know how large your item is, but definitely at least 20 of each item. Like, each item needs to have its own predominant space on the table. I think also a big thing where people go wrong with their craft tables is not making it clear what the item is and how much it is. Like, I have my price signs. They're just little half, what, maybe a 4x6, no, bigger than 4x6, 4x6, 5x8. I think it's a 5x8 frame, and I have just a half sheet of paper in there, which I made on Avery, for each item. So it's like very predominant how much the price is, and it looks a lot nicer than like writing on a piece of paper. Because I've definitely been to a lot of shows where people will, it looks like they just like ripped a page out of their notebook or like a computer paper and they just ripped it up or cut it up, and it's not straight cut, or it's not, like, just print it out, like type it in Word, even just typing in Word ahead of time and just cutting it with a paper cutter, so that it looks very obvious, and then stick it in a frame or laminate it, something like that, so that the price is very obvious, because not everyone's going to ask you what the price is. And like, if they just want to like walk by, like, you could get a sale from someone walking by, looking over, the person they're with wants to keep going, and they looked over and they're like, oh, those are ornaments. Oh, they're only $5. Nice. And they walk around, they're like, oh, let's go back to that ornament lady. They're only $5. And then they come back and you got the sale because they just saw it themselves. So I think having your prices very clear, very large is very important. Granted, people are still going to ask you. They will ask you over and over, even if you have stuff written out. But it's better to have it written out. So, like the jar openers, I have signs all throughout my booths of the price, and people still ask me the price. But of the 10 people that ask you for the price, I'm sure there's like 5 people that just read it and they may or may not have spoken to you. Well, we're at 75 minutes. Is there anything else that I could talk to you guys about or answer questions on? We're about to wrap up here. I'll give it 4 more minutes. At 6:20, we'll wrap this up. This is my first time, so I don't know how people do it, how they like post the live later. I'm not sure if that's something I had to click beforehand. I'm hoping that this like saved and then I can post it for like the people who had to leave or weren't able to join us today. So we'll see. I'm not sure if you'll be able to watch this later or not. Yep, clear pricing is very important. I use half my table. Oh, yeah. That's a really good idea too. My paper kits, she said, I use half my table and put up one sign, $2 each, or 3 for $5. That's good too, like just chunking pricing. So my pricing, I do a similar thing, is that most things are $6, so that like you're saying, like if you buy multiples, you get a sale. That's also a great idea because like people will buy more if there's a deal. And having different items in the same price is really helpful. For example, 3 jar openers is $16 because it's 18, but it's 16 because of the sale. And then a set of towels is $16. So like $6 and $16 are like common sales for me, and so it helps to keep the numbers similar. People also like, they want to be able to buy your item with a $20 bill and get change. So take that how you will. Granted, how big, how small is your item, how are you going to package it? All of those are the factors. Should you put 4 items in there? Should you put 1? So that's a good thing too. And I think it's good to have like each sale should be around $10, I would say. So having your cheapest item below $10 is a little tricky. Like I feel like it's better to have your cheapest item like $6, $8, or $10. I would say if you have it $5 or less, it's definitely going to be harder when you go to the shows that are like $200, $300 to be there. It's really hard to sell that amount of stuff unless you have like a huge inventory. Well, I'm glad you guys enjoyed the live. This was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to next month. Maybe we'll do it once a month, but I'm proud of myself for like checking it off. I'm working towards the goals. So the 12 goals were to post long form videos every Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's goal 1. Spend under $500 of fabric. I think I have like $40 left. Create 6 digital patterns. I've not done any. Participate in 12 craft shows. I've done 1. 1,000 followers on Instagram. I'm not sure what I'm at right now. I was at 200 at the beginning of the year. 3,000 subscribers on YouTube. We're at like 18 or like 1,800 right now. 52 short form videos on YouTube and Insta. I think I've done 2. 2 live videos, so we're doing 1 right now. $1,000 in sales on Etsy, or sorry, 1,000 quantity sales on Etsy. I've not done any. I take that back. I had 3 sales at the show, so I'm at 446 then. 52 Instagram posts that are not videos. I've not done any. 2 outfits. I've not done any, but I do have, sorry, this is sewing a whole outfit. I've not done any yet, but I do have some planned, and my sister asked me to make her something, so we'll be doing that as well. Hopefully we can get her to model for us when I've made it. And then the last goal is to have $20,000 in total sales. Like I said, in my first show, I sold 3 items, and that's all I've sold all year. So we are not far towards that goal, but hopefully next month's video will help out, as well as signing up for all the craft shows. It's definitely easier to sell more in like the last 3 months of the year when people are buying for Christmas. Alrighty, well, I am going to wrap this up and end the live. Thank you to everyone who joined, and I'll see you in the next one.